everyone. Thank you for coming to my presentation today. As Rochelle said, I'm Valerie McKay-Kreitz, and I'm a developer at MapleSoft on the web and mobile team, working on MapleLearn and Maple Calculator. I want to show you some of the great ways that the Maple Math Suite can be used to make math more interactive. My presentation will be geared towards how these tools can be used by educators and students, and I hope that you will all enjoy what I have to show you today. Please enter any questions you have inside the Q&A, and I'll do my best to address them either as I present or at the end of my presentation. The first thing I want to show you is the Maple Calculator and how it can be used to make visuals easily without having to enter anything yourself. If you'd like to follow along or try any of this out for yourself, you can download the Maple Calculator using these QR codes. If you're a student, imagine you're sitting in a lecture hall and your professor has an equation and an image of a plot on the projector that you'd like to explore or see clearer. If you're the professor, imagine a hall full of students who carry a very powerful graphing calculator with them everywhere they go, and they love to use it. The students can take a picture of the equation from the projector and then see the visual right in the palm of their hand. Having a visual that's almost tangible, that you can rotate or pan around with their fingers to see the intricacies or see how the equation is different or the same in different domains. The calculator makes this all easy. It's easy to use, it's easy to see. You have the visuals right there for you whenever you'd like them. The journey of the equation on your phone doesn't have to stop there. From here, you have a choice. You can bring this equation with you easily, either into Maple or MapleLearn. To take this equation with you, you'll need to be logged into your MapleSoft account on the calculator. This is the same account you may already use for Maple Primes or Maple Cloud. You can log in by clicking on the hamburger menu in the top left and then clicking either Sign In or Create Account. Once you're logged in, you can then go to the results page for the equation you have and click on this cloud button. Once you click on it, it will upload your equation to the Maple Cloud for it to continue on its journey. The first stop our equation will make today is inside of Maple. So you can open your equation by going to the Maple Cloud by clicking on either signing in or clicking on your icon up here, clicking on My Files, Maple Calculator, and then clicking on the name of the equation you took the picture of or entered in the calculator and then uploaded. We can now open this equation directly in Maple. So any equation you want, if you have something handwritten out by hand that's hard to enter again on a computer, or you just want an even easier way, you can just take a picture, upload it to cloud, and bring it into Maple, and here it is for you to use however you want to use it from here. Using the context panel in Maple, we can also make this built-in worksheet that comes with the equation a little bit nicer. For example, if I have a plot in Maple, I can go over to the context panel and I can give it a legend as well as give it a title. In this case, I'm just going to call it an equation versus its derivative. Because these tools are so easy and interactive, it makes having any plot or any equation used in Maple even easier than before. Alternatively, that doesn't have to be the end of the journey of an equation that you've taken with a calculator. We can also go to MapleLearn. Open a new document. Oh, there it is. And if you click on this Cloud Expressions button, we can see the recent equations you've taken on your in the calculator. I actually took this one more recently. So we have we can bring this directly into Maple as well as the equation that you taken recently should be here as well. I'm just going to very briefly actually bring that equation over because I forgot to have it prepped. I'm gonna have to sign in. Okay. You can also enter the equation easily into Maple Learn just as easily. Sorry about that, but let's just have x squared and derivative of x squared. The next thing I'd like to show you is how easily this equation can be interacted with within Maple Learn. So if, for example, I were to multiply these two equations via a variable and then assign this variable to any number, you'll see a slider appears immediately. And just like this, I can see how these two equations change as the parameter changes. The next thing I'd like to take a look at is if we go to the Maple Learn homepage, you can see there's all of these examples available. It's a large variety of Maple Learn documents, and they can all be viewed either by scrolling or by searching. We have over 1,000 Learn documents carrying a variety of subjects for students and instructors to browse. All calculators done in Maple Learn are actually backed by Maple's math engine, so it's a very powerful tool, but designed with simplicity in mind. For example, if you're looking for some materials on completing the square, you can search for it in the example gallery. And we can take a look at this fun document here. So I believe Karishma actually showed this document in her presentation earlier, but for those of you who might not have seen, what you can do with these algebra tiles is use them to solve for an expression in a graphical, interactive way. What Karishma wouldn't have shown is actually how you can go about inserting these images. So just like by clicking that button above, you can insert an image into a Maple Learn document. Oh, I clicked away, I'm sorry. And that easily you can have new images that you can add to make your own documents even more interactive as well. So we can take a look here as well. We're gonna very briefly solve this. You can see with the algebra tiles, this is very easy to do. What you want to do when you're using something such as algebra tiles is literally complete the square. So I can see here, it's x squared plus 1 squared, and there'd be 6 algebra tiles left over to equal to that 7. Once you'd finished the example interactively, you can use the context panel to solve the expression as well and double check your work. You can also use the context panel operations on multiple lines. For example, if I have this system of equations here, I can highlight this system and click solve, and it'll solve the whole system for me. Similarly, you could do the same thing by entering a matrix into Maple Learn and solve the expression this way. And this way you have more interactive methods to solve and look at your various options. Another advantage in Maple Learn is that all of the plots are automatic. So if we were to look at this expression here, we can see that we have the different variables already assigned in this document. But I can move these sliders and you'll see that the plot is actually updating on its own as well. You saw this briefly earlier, but I want to highlight the fact that the plot being automatic just means that you can make your documents all the more interactive. You can also resize this plot window to change it to be whether you want it to be the more prominent thing in your document or if you want it to be smaller size if the equations are what's more important for the whoever's reading the document in the end to see in the end. Another great thing with Maple Learn is that even the tables are interactive. If I enter a new table in Maple Learn, I'll give it 2 rows for X and Y. And let's say I just fill it with some random data. So here we have some points. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, you can actually see I can click and drag these points and change their position within Maple Learn, and it updates within the table. Now, where this is really useful is if I say wanted to do a linear regression on this table. I can see what the linear regression of the points I entered was, but I can see how the regression changes as I move the points, for just another interactive way for a student to learn and visualize what they're trying to learn. There's so many great tools in Maple Learn, and Maple Learn, I would say, is entirely an interactive tool. I definitely recommend you trying it out, either for creating documents or looking at the examples we have, just to see how interactive it can be. I also have a small handout I can provide for you. Let me just copy the link over quickly. And I've just copied into the chat a link to this document on the Maple Cloud that you're welcome to download in Maple if you'd like to follow along with any of these examples. So you can also use Maple to create scripts that can be run and learn. You may have seen some examples of these earlier as well, but I'd like to show you how these scripts are actually created. So one of the quickest and easiest ways to do this is using a solve practice command from inside of the grading package. I have the parameter for output equals link here, and just running the single command will give me a link for a Maple Learn document where I have this equation that I've entered as a parameter able to be used. And now I can solve this equation and check the steps just that easily. So now if I were to go through this equation, let's just quickly try and solve this here. Now, if I or a student were to make a mistake, we can check this page. And the script that I used before from inside Maple to create this Maple Learn document will tell me exactly where I went wrong. I can now correct the step where I went wrong. I can take a look at what I did and see, oh, this should have actually been X minus 3 and X plus 1. So now I know that the answers here should be this. I can check the page again. Oh, sorry. I can check the page again. I can see that each of the steps are right and that I found the correct solutions. And this is a great way for students to check their work as they do practice problems to see exactly where they went wrong so that they can try again or fix their problems as they go as well. Now, another way you can make interactive documents from Maple is using scripts. So in this example, we have a procedure here used to find primes. It's using the document tools canvas package. And we're creating a script from the document tools canvas package using the script command. So here we just have a for loop that's going to check each of the different groups within the math canvas and check whether or not they are prime. And then if it is prime, it'll annotate that area of the canvas with this is a prime, and if not, it'll annotate it with this is not a prime. So this procedure can then be put within a script button. Adding it to a script button and then creating a new canvas using this using this command here. Make sure I run both of these. I can actually then either create my Maple Learn document, which we'll go look at in a second, but if you wanted to test it in Maple, you can also use the show canvas command rather than the share canvas command, and use this to test that your script actually works before you open it and learn. So taking a look now at Learn, I can just enter some prime numbers or non-prime numbers. Let's see some options here, and we can check the page. And this script will just check each of the items I write and see if they are prime or are not prime. And of course, you can create any script you want, essentially, to put in a button for Maple Learn. There's all sorts of tools to help you find the different ways. And this is just another way that both Maple and Maple Learn can be used to make very interactive tools. So another thing we can take a look at is how Maple itself can be a very interactive tool. So Maple, as you may know, it can be used for computating math, creating functions, scripts, all sorts of things. But there's also some very easy ways to interactively explore things in Maple. For example, here I have this command. Now you'll notice that there's some things here, like the A and B, that if I were to run this as just a plot expression, wouldn't evaluate. However, if I am instead to go to the explore command, I can choose to skip the variable x because it is the plotting variable here. I'll even click return command to see exactly what it's doing. I can click explore. And just like this, I now have in Maple a small little application that I can use to explore the function I had entered within that plot. Because I clicked return command, I have the command as well for the explore function. And I could enter this as well in Maple to get the same function back, or same application back. Another great way to use Maple interactively is with math apps. So while the explore command can be used to make interactive documents quickly, math apps can be used to make more polished or more advanced applications. There are many math apps that come included with Maple, or you can make your own. You can take a look at all of the math apps available by taking a look at the math apps guide for all the math apps that are available in Maple. And some examples that can also be viewed are within the handout I linked as well. So in this example, this is a math app showing conic sections. And as we can see, you can move that plane along the cone to see how the section, the intersection of the cone and the plane changes the 2D representation. So in this way, we can take a look at this mathematical concept and see a visual representation that'll help you understand it much easier. Maple is a great tool for this, and we have many math apps available. You can also view many Maple math apps on the Maple Cloud. These math apps are available even on a computer that doesn't have Maple installed. And for example, this is a cool one I've seen before, is the river crossing problem. So you might have heard the riddle before of the river crossing problem, where a farmer needs to cross a river taking a wolf, his chicken, and his seeds. However, they can't leave the wolf and the chicken alone, and they can't leave the chicken with the seeds. So you can use the options to go through this problem. And as you can see, it'll tell you if it's the right or wrong action, and you can go through it. And it's another cool interactive way people have used it. And there's many math apps available, and the tools available to make them in Maple can mostly be found inside the context panel here on the left-hand side.